All right, let's give that a try. So recording has started, guys. Hey, right on. So Matthew's business major. He's going to be a junior next year, is what he shared, and just kind of looking for other opportunities. Are you committed? Like, are you looking for a specific part of the country? Are you looking for, warmer weather, colder weather? The reasons we hear students
Yeah.
that want to go on exchange, they're abundant, right? Like a lot of
hmm
different reasons. So what's kind of, you're looking for new things. Is there something specific you're looking for?
I mean, there's not really anything specific, just more so like um kind of warmer weather, I guess, where it's not like cold in the
Sure.
winter here and then I can wear shorts year
Sure.
round.
So Fairbanks, Alaska, it is. You got it.
No.
No, just kidding, man. Right on. Well, all right. So this is how National Student Exchange works. It works just like study abroad, but it's within the United States and United States territories, right? So great for
Okay.
students who want to go on exchange within the United States and United States territories. While students go on exchange, they will pay University of New Mexico tuition. Any scholarships, any financial aid that you're receiving from UNM is applied the same way as if you were here on campus, only you're not,
Okay.
right? You're studying at a different domestic school, you're paying them no tuition, you're taking advantage of the scholarships and financial aid from our campus, and you're able to access different courses and just get a different experience at another campus, right? So um, only eligibility requirements, students have to have at least a 2.5 in order to go on an exchange. In most cases, students need to be at least a sophomore. You're going to be a junior, so you should have no problem
Okay.
by the time they go on an exchange, but not necessarily by the time that they apply for the exchange. So, for example, the most common people that we send typically are going to be sophomores and juniors, but a few more sophomores usually than juniors in a lot of cases.
hmm
I tend to find that sophomore year is the easiest time to go on exchange just because you have the most course flexibility, but junior year totally will work as well.
Okay.
Um, but you need to have at least 24 credit hours by the time you go on the exchange. So a lot of students will apply in their freshman
Yeah.
year before they've got 24 credit hours. But by the time they go on the exchange, they'll have those 24, right? So
Okay.
what I'm going to teach you today is I'm going to teach you how to use the NSE.org website to basically just be a good consumer of information. So what
Okay.
we're advising you on, right? There's two different times when a student can apply for exchange. There's during our competitive placement process, and then there's during what's called direct placements. We're in what's called direct placements right now. Our competitive process has wrapped up, it's concluded, right? And as part of that, the competitive process means you're vying for spots sort of against other students at schools who may have limited number of spaces. And ultimately, we have students apply using some like more specific evaluation criteria, including an essay. And then also, like, you have to list a number of schools. With direct placement, there's no competition. If a school is open, we'll check with them and confirm that they can accept you. And if they say, hey, we can party, we're ready to have Matthew come, then
hmm
it's simple. You apply to one school. There's no essay requirement. We make it a really easy process because it's non-competitive, right? So
Okay.
that non-competitive process. So what I'm going to share with you today is the list of schools that are available after our competitive process has concluded about a month ago, because that wrapped up in March.
Okay.
So I'm going to share my screen with you, okay?
All right.
Um, and so this screen, do you see the orange stripe here?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So this screen is the NSE.org homepage. Okay, so in order to see what campuses are currently available for exchange in our post-conference process, you're going to hover your mouse over campuses and click on availability. Now, by clicking on availability, you're going to go ahead and you're going to scroll down here and you're going to see a lot of different stuff, but you're going to see some stuff that says the campus is in alphabetical order. And then in
hmm
these four columns, you see something called host pay, home pay, fall deadline, spring deadline. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you about host pay really quickly, and then I want you to forget about it. Okay.
Okay.
So, host pay for the National Student Exchange means that you're paying your tuition directly to the other campus through a direct enrollment. Host pay, your scholarships and financial aid are still coming from UNM, but you're paying your tuition to the other college. So we at the University of New Mexico, as it currently stands, we do not participate in host pay. We only do what I described to you previously. Pay tuition to UNM, tuition waiver to the other college, scholarships and financial aid coming from UNM. Okay. So
Okay.
you're going to disregard this column. In an
All
effort
right.
to disregard the column, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this button that says home payment. and it's going to reorganize all the schools so that the ones that are currently open are listed first. Okay. All the schools that are open are listed in order. And then we get to this section that says limited. Limited
Mm.
means that they have very few options available. And more often than not, these schools are not going to be an option for you at this point. Okay. We're interested in the ones that are open. We keep scrolling, we're going to see these red ones that say closed, closed affirmatively. And then finally, we see these schools that are under a wait list. At this point in the game, most schools are going to have a very long wait list and are
Mm-hmm.
not likely to be an option. So what we want to concentrate our efforts on is looking at these open probability or these open schools. Okay. The other thing we
Okay.
need to pay attention to is if you're interested in going in the fall of this 2024, that's this fall semester, then we're looking at this fall deadline. If you're
Okay.
interested in going in the spring of 2025, which is next spring semester, we're looking at this deadline. You as an NSE student have an option to go for the fall, spring, or get this, both, where you can do
Mm.
both. What they call that is they call it an all year exchange. So if
Right.
that's the case, you're still looking at this fall deadline is what's important.
Okay.
Now, as it's pretty intuitive, right? If a deadline has already passed, that means the campus is no longer open and they just haven't updated it yet, right? So for one, both Brandon and Bridgewater State are not going to be options, but any school that doesn't have a deadline that is passed and is listed as open on homepage, that's going to be an option for you.
Okay.
So you spoke to some of your desires to go on exchange to be, sorry, I have a spam phone. Some of your desires to go on exchange to be related to warmer weather, just having a different opportunity. So looking through this, is there a specific state that you're interested in or like anything that might give us a nice starting place? Because what I'd like to do is I'd like to open a campus profile and kind of show you how to fish, like how to look
Okay.
for the information that's important.
I was looking at Arizona a while ago, so that's probably like my first option.
Okay, let's see what we can find here. Okay, so right now it shows that Northern Arizona is open.
Yeah.
University of Arizona is also a campus that we partner with, but they are listed as closed. So
Close. Okay.
why don't we start with Northern Arizona? I'll click on the campus profile and take your
That
route.
was that Northern Arizona was like the first option that I was probably
Okay,
going to look
cool.
at.
Well, let's use this one as our example. So every single campus profile is laid out in the exact same format. Okay. Only
Mm-hmm.
difference is the pictures are going to change and the information is going to be specific to that campus, right? It's kind of like an old MySpace or WordPress website where it's just like fill in the blanks about the information that's relevant to you.
Okay.
Fast facts is a section that I would concentrate on just really briefly to say, hey, is this a major metropolitan area and I'm not interested in that? Is the language of instruction my language of instruction? Am I comfortable with the term dates? There's very closely parallel our own at University of New Mexico, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll continue to look through some of that stuff. Pictures are what this is the front cover of the magazine is sort of how I describe it. And that front cover of the magazine is really compelling and might get you interested. But where the rubber really meets the road is if we keep scrolling down. So
Mm-hmm.
all this stuff, who wouldn't want to be at the number 3 best college town in the nation, right? Like those are selling points for students. About
Yeah.
this campus, all that stuff is also going to be selling points to the front cover of the magazine. So if you'll draw your attention down here, we're going to see that under 2024 and 25 on that home payment, this school is listed as open right now. Before you would officially apply, because we're doing the direct placement process, what we would typically do is our staff would reach out to the home campus coordinator at the other university just to confirm that they are indeed open, right? Are you
Mm-hmm.
open or did you just not update your page and you're actually closed? So at least as it currently stands, they're advertising that they're open. So let's keep going. These 6 tabs tell a lot of the story of what is most important to us, okay? So what we really want to be considering when we're looking at these 6 tabs is an exchange is all about fit, right? Yes, it
Mm-hmm.
has to fit your like desires for warmer weather and it needs to fit your desires to go somewhere new and so forth, right? There's lots of options like that. But when it boils down to it from an advisement standpoint, what you really want to consider is fit kind of looks like 3 different things for me. Academic fit. Is this a campus that is going to be a good fit? It's not going to add time to your degree completion. You're going to be able to find the courses that you need and so forth. The second is it a good financial fit? Can you actually afford to go to school at this other campus? Because even though you're not paying tuition at their campus, you are going to have to pay the cost of living and there may be some incidental fees and things that you may need to pay. So
Mm-hmm.
this tab is going to tell us all about that. And then there's also like a cultural fit. Are my needs going to be able to be met on this campus? And under the resources tab, let's say you're a veteran and you want to know what types of veteran services, or you're a student with a disability and you need accommodations, right? Whole bunch of resources here The tuition and finances and room and meals is going to make up kind of the financial fit as well. But that's what these 6 green tabs help us to do, is just gauge fit. So
Okay.
starting with academics, that's most important, right? So the first thing that I typically look at, we can read through some of these things. You're going to register after campus students, which means that you're going to get the last dibs on classes. Some campuses are going to allow you to register first. Some are going to be in the middle based on class standing, etc. That doesn't have to be a deal breaker. It's just something that says, hey, this is what we know.
Mm-hmm.
So closed programs, very important. If your program, business administration, is listed as a closed program for any campus profile you're looking at, move on to the next page, because it means that you're not going to be able to take classes in business as a junior. You absolutely need to be able to do that. Now, there's also something about business majors that's very important. You attend the University of New Mexico. We're a hoity-toity business school. We've got one of the most prestigious accreditations in the country, and it's called AACSB. AACSB accredited schools are specific because we will only accept placements from, or excuse me, we'll only accept coursework that is transferred from other AACSB accredited schools when it comes to business classes, right? So we want to make sure that Northern Arizona or any other campus that you're interested in meets that requirement. So here's what I'm going to do. I Google AACSB accreditation, okay? And I'm going to get to this school search, and I'm just going to search Northern Arizona. And look at that. They pop up as one of the schools. They have the same accreditation as us. That means that this campus is a good academic fit for business because they offer that, okay? The next thing we want to do, though, is we want to make sure that we look also at this limitations section, okay? In general, if we see that a limitation of our major is provided, that's not a deal breaker, but it does mean that I need to have flexibility and proceed with some caution, because I may not get to pick my perfect schedule, right? I can get 300 and 400 level classes perhaps in business, because look, business is listed here. All 300 and 400 level classes require a $300 fee each semester to be a part of the business professional program at W.A. Frank College of Business, regardless of whether you're a home or host pay student. So this is a new cost, dude. This is not common. But we would only know that if we read all of this information. So business majors, if you take 3 business classes, you're going to have to pay their campus $300 per class for those business courses. Okay.
Wow.
That's what this says. So that is a unique thing. That is not always going to be the case. And that may be a deal breaker for you, or it may be okay, that's cool. I'm only going to go for a semester and I can afford that. So always look at the limitations, okay? Notable academic programs, unique academic programs. Here under undergraduate majors open to NSC students, I'm going to click here to show all. And in general, if we see our major listed under this section, that gives me a great deal of confidence that you're going to be able to find classes within the program that you're taking at the other university. But again, you ultimately are going to work that out with advisement and with departments to ensure that the courses are going to transfer back accordingly. But at the end of the day, this is what we have to go off of when we're trying to explore these campuses in a preliminary stage, okay?
Right.
So that's the academics tab. Everything seems like it could be an academic fit, but as something we alluded to, there might be a financial component that we're worried about, right? So here's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to click on conditions. This is going to give us an idea. Do you meet the mold of what they require? So they don't have any general eligibility requirements outside of a 2.5 GPA, and you got to be sophomore level, right? They don't do summer exchange. You're not interested in summer exchange. Are you an international student by chance, Matthew?
No.
Okay, so that doesn't apply to you. There's this section here that talks about if a student is an international student, whether or not a campus can accept them. But everything seems to be applicable, and it seems like you're going to be fine as far as the eligibility goes.
Okay.
So let's look at financial fit. Now remember, as I said, every student, you pay regular tuition at your home campus and no tuition or fees are paid to the host campus, right? That's what we said. But in this chart, they're going to list miscellaneous fees per semester that students may be eligible or required to pay for, okay? Keep in mind that we saw on that first page, that $300 per business class thing. That's not incorporated here on this chart, but it should be, because it is a real expense that you would incur as a student there if you took a business class.
Okay.
So here's the fees that we care about, okay? We care about the ones that say home payment, and we care about the ones that say mandatory, unless it applies to your situation, right? So if you're planning to live on campus at NAU, right, then you have a $175 housing deposit that you have to pay to their campus. That means like if you if you decide to cancel your exchange and you were planning to live in housing, you're going to forfeit that $175 deposit, right?
Mhm.
An ID card. Students have to pay 25 bucks for that piece of plastic at this campus. Every campus is going to be different. Some charge for it, sometimes it's free. The parking fee. So parking is never free. I've never heard of a
Yeah.
campus that didn't charge for it, right? But it's 500 a semester. That's a little more expensive than we are here at UNM.
Mhm.
That's probably about quadruple because I think you pay about 250 on average for one semester here. So it's almost $1,000 a year to park. There's also a fall only housing fee. If you're only going for the fall semester, they charge $630 if you're living in the residence halls. They charge you 630 bucks to be a fall only student. Weird fee. Okay. Um, honors program fee if you're in the honors program, course materials and fees. Now, I'll say this as far as this is a lot of fees that not all campuses are going to charge. Okay.
Yeah.
Some campuses you're going to scroll down here and there's going to be nothing other than a $10 ID card. Some are going to have no fees whatsoever that they advertise or post. Some are going to
Mhm.
charge you for technology and transportation and a lot of other fees. What's important is this a good financial fit for you? Can you afford these fees as advertised based on what your needs are? Okay. That's why we don't want to just skim through that. We want to ask ourselves, is this a good fit?
Yeah.
The next tab is room and meals. So for this one, on-campus housing per semester, the approximate cost is $3,100. That's about 600 bucks more on average than what we charge for a semester at UNM, roughly. But there may be $3,100 housing here. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, if you were to live off campus, they also advertise off-campus costs. Okay, so $1,300 for maybe an apartment within 7 miles of campus or something like that, right? Important thing for you to know under room and meals. If a campus says that on-campus housing is required, that means that you are required to live on campus and you cannot live off. If it
Mhm.
says encouraged, that just means that they encourage it. It doesn't mean that you're required to do it, right? But pay attention to the requirements because they may even list off-campus housing costs even if they require on-campus housing. So if you don't want to live on campus, then a campus that says required may not be a good fit for you. Also,
Mhm.
pay close attention to meal plans. Meal purchase is not required for on-campus living. Some campuses will require that and add another 2,000 bucks to the overall cost, right? If you're doing a meal plan. So something important to note, just make sure that you look for the requirements for housing and meal plans because those can impact
Okay.
costs. Here's that list of resources I said, if any of these specific services maybe meet needs that you're inquiring about, this has to do with fit also. Click on them to learn a little bit more.
Okay.
The final tab here is health insurance. Okay. Now, this can be an additional cost to some students. So this says for home and host pay students, for home pay students, it is optional, right? They list some different things about students who have visas and things like that. So if you needed health insurance, it's optional. This campus does not require it. But some
Okay.
campuses may say that it is required. So you want to pay special attention to that.
All right.
All right, so we've just dove into a campus profile. Know that every single one is going to look different. It won't always take that long to go through. I'm explaining everything, right? But you may just
Mhm.
go through this really fast like this. You may go, all right, cool. I got some fast facts here. And you may say, all right, I'm going to look at academics now. So I say, all right, I don't see my major listed under the closed programs. Reading these limitations. Oh, shoot, here's this information about business majors, right?
Right.
Notable academic programs. Hey, business is on there. That's cool, right? I see that my major is listed as an open major, or I don't see it, right? We just
Mhm.
kind of, you'll kind of click through this a little bit more quickly in some ways. It becomes a little faster, okay? Treat this like you're planning some kind of a vacation. Don't treat it like a task. Otherwise, it's going to feel like one. This should be a fun
Yeah.
process. So
Okay.
try and make it a fun process. Now, let's say you get to the point where you're curious and you want to know, hey, Greg, NAU is going to be a good fit. I'd like to explore a placement there. You're going to reach out to our team and you're going to say, hey, I'd like to pursue this placement. What we're going to do is we're going to reach out to the campus coordinator and we're going to say, hey, I've got Matthew. Matthew's going to be a junior. He wants to live on campus and Matthew is, or maybe you want to live off campus, you'll just let us know. He's a business major and he wants a home pay placement for the fall semester only, or the spring semester or all year. And we're going to say, can you accept him? They're going to say yes, or they're going to say no. And if they say yes, we're going to say, all right, cool. Matthew, everything looks good. Go ahead and complete the application now. So you're going to click on the Apply Now button, which is located on every single page of every single nsc.org page. You'll click on this Apply Now. You'll enter your UNM email address. You'll hit Next Steps. And I'm just going to go through this really quickly. What's your email address, Matthew?
MEMENDOZA 10.
Say it
It's
one more
two
time.
M's.
Two
So
M's.
M Mendoza. So it should have two M's.
Oopsies.
Yeah. Mendoza 10 at UNM.
Okay, cool. So you're going to get an automated message when I click this button. And it's going to say, hey, Matthew, you just started an nsc.org application. I'm not sure why it's taken so long to process it right now. Normally it's pretty instantaneous. Site is glitching or something. Oh, my internet's, no, I'm on the call with you guys. It's not my internet. Maybe nsc.org is having some trouble. So here's what I'll just kind of walk you through what it looks like. So the application is easy. The hardest part about the application is not the application itself. It's that it's not a free application. For every student that we attempt to place through NSE, we have to pay the bozos who run National Student Exchange $150 application fee for every student. That's how they keep the consortium together and make their money. Full transparency, our application fee right now is $200, so we keep $50 on campus, okay, to help us continue to maintain and keep a program. And then 150 goes directly to NSE. So that's the hardest part. It's not a free application, right? But the application itself is easy. It's demographic information. What are you studying? Tell us about your emergency contact. What are your motivations to go on exchange? Do you want to pay the bill by bursars? Do you want to pay the bill by cash or check? And you keep scrolling and scrolling down. There's a section that's going to ask you to complete an essay. That essay is only for the competitive process, which we're not in. So you can just write NA, or you could write, they told me I don't need to write an essay or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay? The essay part is not required for you to complete. Okay. Then you're going to select the school that you want. It's going to give you 5 options. You only need to select one because, again, non-competitive process. Once your application is complete, you'll hit Save Application. It's going to say Application 100% complete, and we'll get notice that it's been completed, and we'll go in and approve it. And we'll start the matriculation process for you to the other campus. Okay.
All right.
But for now, man, you're not there yet. You're just kind of searching and destroying a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? But once you identify a campus that you think is a good fit and you say, hey, I'd like to pull the trigger, can you explore and let me know if this is a good fit? And this campus is still accepting placements, we'll do it at that point and we'll reach out to them. Okay.
Okay.
So should be pretty straightforward. I'm not sure why your application, I'm not sure why the application didn't go through, but it should send you something. It was Mendoza 10.
Yes.
I'm not sure why it's not going, but give it a few hours and try. You can enter it yourself, and it'll send you that updated application. We see you are. Oh yeah, they say you already started an application for University of New Mexico, so just check your email and it should be in your inbox. It's a direct link where you can go in and apply. Okay, so that's kind of the quick and dirty version of the nsc.org application, the direct placement process. If you choose not to participate, no sweat, right? We're just a vehicle to help you get where you want to go. Now, remember, this doesn't preclude you from doing international exchange. You have 4 semesters of eligibility to do exchange programs. You can do any, that doesn't include summer exchanges with like faculty-led trips and stuff like that. You just can't exceed 4 total semesters on exchange at in your time as a UNM student, right? Todd's the study abroad, director of study abroad programs. Our program, National Student Exchange, is getting absorbed by Global Education Office sometime here in the next year or so. So Todd's just on board getting some of this information too. Do you have any specific questions, Matthew?
No, you hit them all.
Okay, cool, bud. Well, just know you can reach out to us if you've got any other questions as you're shopping around. Let us know if
Mhm.
anything does pop up, and if you found a campus that you want us to reach out to, we'll do that. Okay.
Okay.
All right, man. Best of luck to you.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Take care, man. Bye bye.
You too. See ya.